Hello, this is Miss Thumley. Welcome back to the videos on the quadratic functions test review. The problem that we're at right now is number 33. Okay, so I know that we could probably do this using factoring, but I think you'll feel better if we use the quadratic formula with this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set it up. So we've got x equals, okay, and I'm going to change my color here. And remember that we're just going to make this equal 0. Okay, they're asking for the root, so they're wanting us to solve it. So let's go x equal negative b, which b is 27, or excuse me, negative 27, and the b squared, and then it's minus 4a and c. Okay. And then we're going to go all over 2a. You got to remember to put that fraction and make it all over 2 times 5. Okay, so let's write it out and we'll make it look a little bit neater here. 27, since it's positive now, square root, we're going to do in a minute, and then 2 times 5 is 10. Okay, now negative 27 squared is going to make 729. Remember, negative times a negative will make a positive. And then I know I've got to it's either going to be a minus or an add here. The subtract or add, because if you have a negative 4 and a negative 18, that negative is going to make a positive. So that's going to make an add, okay? And then if you take 20 times 18, that's going to make 360. Okay, so x equals 27 plus or minus the square root. Let's figure out how much that is. If you add 729 plus 360, you get 1,089. Okay, so here's the thing. I thought it might be factorable because, let's see, 1,089 is a perfect square. If I square root that, it is going to make 33. So this is going to come out nicely. So let's go ahead and do both of these calculations. Remember, we have to add the 27, 33, and then we have to subtract them. So we have to do this 2 different times. 27 plus 33 is going to make it 60, and that's going to be divided by 10. And the other answer is going to be 27 minus 33, which is a negative 6, divided by 10. And I need to reduce that to make it look good. So 60 divided by 10 is 6. And if I reduce 6 over 10 by taking out a 2, I get, I divide it out of 2 from 6, that gives me 3, and divide out of 2 from 10, and that gives me a 5. And so that's going to make it negative 3/5. So my answer is x equals 6 or negative 3/5. Remember, a parabola is usually going to cross the x-axis in 2 places, or you're going to get 2 answers. Now sometimes it crosses in 1 because it's the vertex. But when it crosses, it's either called roots or x-intercepts or solutions. So that's why it's asking for the roots. So when it says roots, just know you've got to go ahead and solve it. It's the same as if it had asked you to solve or find the solutions. Okay, so let's try number 34. Okay, so again, look here, it's asking you for the zeros, which is the same thing as solving. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to use the quadratic formula because I think that once you're on the test, you're going to feel more comfortable using that formula. When it says negative b, you just say negative and then you put the b in there. So if you get 2 negatives, you know you're going to use a positive. Negative 7 squared is our b. Okay. Remember, this is our 0 here, so we're okay with that. Negative 7 minus 4 A is 6, and C is -5. Don't forget the negatives in front of it, okay? Some of you like to go ahead and throw the x's in there, and you don't want to use those x's, just use the coefficients. So I'm going to put 6 right there. Okay, so that's 2a. And again, I like to write it out. So negative negative is a 7. Plus or minus, I will do the square root in just a minute. And 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, so the square root's really the thing that I have to do first, but I like everything else to look pretty. So that's going to make 49. Okay, and a negative negative is going to make a positive, right? Okay, so what is 24 times 5? Because I already dealt with a negative negative. I know a negative for the 4, negative for the 5 is going to make it positive. So I know I'm going to add. And 24 times 5 is 120. And if you add that to 49, you're going to get 169. Okay? X equals 7 plus or minus the square root of 169 over 12. Okay, so x equals 7 plus or minus, what is the square root of 169? That's 13. So see, this would have been factorable since that was a perfect square. We could have factored it. Okay. Let's see here. So let's go ahead and do the two calculations. So we got to do 7 plus 13 is 20 over 12. And 7 minus 13 is going to be -6 over 12. Okay, I want to go ahead and reduce these so I can have a final answer. So 20 over 12, if I take out 4 for the 20 over 12, if I take out a 4, that's 5 over 3. And the -6 over 12 is just -1/2. Okay, and so that is my final answer. X equals 5/3 and -1/2. Okay, and remember, they're asking for the zeros, which just means solve. Okay, all right, let's do one more problem. All right, so number 35 is asking for the x-intercepts. Again, this is just another way of asking us to solve it. So I know this is going to be 0 right here. And I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic formula again. And that's going to make a -5 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. 2 times 2. So I'm going to go x equal -5 plus or minus. I think you've noticed that I like to go ahead and set this all up because I get the square root. And then the square root is the one I do first. Okay. So this is 25 minus 24. Okay. 8 times 3 is 24. So 25 minus 24 is 1. All right, so x equals -5 plus or minus the square root of 1 is just 1. I know that's weird, but think about it. The square root of 0 is 0. The square root of 1 is 1. So when you get to 0 and 1, don't let that scare you. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do these calculations because I've got to do 2 of them. One for when I add it together and the other one when I subtract it. Okay, so this -5 plus 1 is going to make -4 over 4. Let's do the other one. -5 minus 1 is a -6 over 4. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce. So that's going to make -4 divided by 4 is a -1. And -6 over 4 is take out a 2, which I'm going to divide out the 2 from here, so that's -3. and take out a 2 from 4, and that's 2. So that will be -3/2. And so my answer is x equals -1 and -3/2. All right, well, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and please check out the next video that will finish up the test review.